Good morning, stylist from the back room. Good morning. We've got some news. We've got something to discuss about clients. It's going to be a goofy one. We've got a product review about Lightner control from All Nutrient.
My
And
favorite.
then the motivation this week is going to be a banger. I am excited for the motivation this
Oh,
week.
I got a great one for you this week, but
Good
you got to
morning,
wait.
John, my friend. Good
You have to
morning.
wait 45 minutes for that.
Bring it on.
Good morning. How's everybody at SFTB? How everybody doing well? Eddie, we have to start we've been doing this for 6 months, so I got to start it this way. Eddie, how's your week been, buddy?
What I thought today was Saturday. Like I thought, last night I thought today was going to be Saturday, and then I found out it's Friday. So I don't know if I'm excited there's an extra day in this week, or
Or you want it to
I
be
don't know if
over?
I'm excited or sad that there's an extra day left. I was really. You ever get mentally prepared for the client the next day, and then you find out all that mental preparation is. I don't think I got it in me to re-prepare again for tomorrow morning.
Right. So, oh, and by the way, Eddie, I'm supposed to tell you you're adorable.
I'm adorable.
Aww.
It's awesome. All right, let's do this, man. Let's do
Are you
this.
ready? Are you ready for some fun stuff?
I'm motivated this week.
Because you made a request last week, and I have to, it's my pleasure to honor your requests.
Whoa.
So you said you missed stats, so I've got some stats for you.
Bring it on.
We're going to start this off because we're going to be talking about lightning and stuff a little bit later. And I came across something really interesting. Do you know that 2% of people worldwide, so think about that, all the people in the world, only 2% of them have natural blonde hair?
2% of the entire world's population have blonde hair.
Natural blonde hair.
So everybody's a level 6.
Yeah, or darker. Well, everybody's a level 6 or darker.
Wow, 2%.
So that's 98% of the world is, a level 6 or darker.
Is a brunette.
Yeah.
Okay.
And 3% worldwide are redheads.
I can't. I wanted to say so many things. I love 3% of the population.
3% are natural redheads. And since we're on that vein, because I fell down a rabbit hole with this, do you know what the least common eye to hair color combination is?
Eye to hair color combination?
Eye color to hair color combination.
Like if you got blue eyes and brown hair or something?
Yeah, what's the least common?
I got like green eyes with dark hair, black hair.
Nope.
Okay,
blue eyes, red hair.
A ginger can have blue eyes?
That's the least common.
How do you have blue eyes?
It's the least common natural combination.
That is crazy. Okay.
And then transversely, the most common is
brown eyes.
Brown. Yes, sir. So, how's that for some fun statistics for you?
That is fun, man. That is really. Oh, did you find anything about albinos?
No, I'll do that for next week.
That would be fun.
Guys, look how excited he gets for albinos.
Have you ever had an albino client?
Actually, there's a guy that works out at the gym that I work out at. He's albino.
No. But have you ever had like an actual albino client?
No, there's how do you color that hair?
Weird. It was really weird.
Yeah.
I take her back to the shampoo bowl. I wet her down and her hair disappeared. I thought I did something wrong. You just saw her scalp. And I was like, it really freaked me out. Okay. You know, like those japchae noodles that we get, man? Like how
Dude, I'm hungry and you're talking
I'm
about
telling
food.
you, like it was crazy. It was so crazy. Everything about this girl, like you could see every vein in her skin. Like it was wild how pale she was. It was really amazing. I don't know if I was more fascinated. I can't tell you. I think she was pretty. I have no idea. I'm just so fascinated by her skin and by her hair. And she had like reddish, she had like a reddish hue in her eyes. Like it was so, oh man, I'll never forget her. She
That's
was
insane.
so cool. She
Yeah.
was so cool.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, so you ready? Ready for your next statistic, my friend?
Oh, you got more? Okay, you got
Well, I
more.
got a whole. I have.
Okay.
We have 4 segments to this.
Whoa.
Okay, so give me a guess. What's now? See, you and I are not good for this statistic because our reputations are built on hair color. Mostly, yours hair extensions too. Mine's just bad sarcasm and hair color. But what percentage of women in the U.S. dye their hair?
87%.
Ooh, you are close. 75 to 85% of women in the U.S. dye their hair.
75 to 85. Okay.
Okay, so
I
now
just wanted to come up with some goofy round, odd number. I didn't want to have like a regular number.
okay, so now you ready now?
All right.
As of last year, 50% of women who color their hair opt for blonde shades.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So we've gone from, back in the day when like my grandma used to color her hair, where they were just women were trying to just cover gray. It's now we've progressed all the way. Think about that, 50%.
I think that number, actually, I'm going to argue with you. I think that number is lower.
Well, okay.
Because in the 90s and in the early 2000s, all we did was blondes. There was no brunettes left.
Okay, but they're talking about they're taking the full population, okay, of color, and they're breaking it down that way. So if you really think about it, I would say, once again, you and I aren't a good what do you call it? My brain.
Yeah, because we're all over the place. We do all hair color types.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Well, we're colorists. If that's the moniker you want, I just prefer chimp with a tint brush in his hand. But really, if you really think about it, all the color services that go on, yeah, 50% is blonde shades.
I'll take it. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good one.
I mean, God bless my clients, like your client Vivian that you gave to me. I love her. I mean, she's a level 2 single process. Boom, 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 boom. I mean,
She
I love
wears
her.
it so well.
Yeah.
She wears it so well.
Yeah. But if you really think about it over the course of the week or the month, however you want to do it, if you really think about the services that you do, I mean, yeah, we're about 50% blonde shade.
Oh yeah, no. Last night, I'll take it. Yeah, last night was a lot of blondes. Tomorrow is going to be a lot of brunettes. Yeah, I got you.
I mean, yesterday afternoon, I had two back-to-back double processes. It's the same thing. So,
yeah.
Okay. And now here is the big one. The big one. In your color business, what's your biggest ticket item?
I don't understand the question. Like foiling?
Yeah. Foiling is your biggest ticket, right?
Yeah.
Aside from a corrective color or something like that, right?
Oh, okay.
So with that being said, what percentage of color business is highlighting? nationally.
It better be more than 50%, man.
We're talking nationally.
That's why I'm saying it better be more than 50%.
Well,
People, what are you doing, people?
You're close. You're off by 12%.
Higher. So it's 62%?
38% of salon color services is highlighting.
We need to embrace. This is why, okay, you know what? This is why a couple weeks ago, when you told me the average ticket price in the industry was some low, I don't even remember, what was it, like $48 or $53? Like it was some low number because 80, what were you telling me? Like almost 90% of people get haircuts. Like that's insane. Come on. Build your tickets. Color is a. Why did we used to do perm? Every single person, regardless if they got a haircut or not, got a perm in the 80s. Every single person in the 90s and in the early 2000s got a deep conditioner, regardless if they got a haircut or not. In this past 10 years, everybody is getting a smoothing treatment or a vegan treatment or a something treatment, regardless if they got a haircut or not. What? How are you supposed to make? How many haircuts do you have to do at $25 to $45 to bang out $100,000 to be a six-figure income? This is why a lot of people struggle with trying to be six-figure income stylists, and they're just so blown away when I tell them like it's super easy, and they're like, no, it's impossible. Like, how is it? Here's me. How is it impossible? Here's them. How is it possible? Well, if you have if you're only coloring 2 out of 10 clients, then you're never going to get there.
Right.
You got to completely reverse that around. You got to be coloring 8 out of 10 clients, 10 out of 10 clients, and then you move up into hair extensions or specialty treatments or keratins or perms or chemicals or something. And then from there, you move up into replacement. You move up into the next thing. Then you move up into trichology. Then you move up into, like, there's such a progression that never ends in our industry. And the income is limitless. Like, you are only capped by yourself. There is no other excuse why you shouldn't be making well over $100,000, if not even more. It's mind-boggling. Well, that's a mind-boggling statistic.
It's human nature. People get comfortable, and then they put their blinders on, and they don't want to look at anything other than what's right in front of them. And that's you know what, that's for another episode, bro. Because
look, I know. All right, I know. I digress. It blows my mind. 38%
is highlights. Now, once again, but really look at that number and think about that nationally.
Look at what an opportunity for growth. Okay, let's look at it from a positive. What an opportunity for growth.
Right.
You can easily get yourself a raise. Nobody wants to raise their price. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. A lot of people struggle with raising their prices. By starting to incorporate coloring services, more coloring services than you're currently doing, what an opportunity to raise the bar and to raise the national average. So I look at that as a win too. That's from a positive perspective.
I agree. And since we're talking about raising the bar and raising our and people actually raising their business to another level, I think one of the biggest things that we're all guilty of. We're all guilty of this is paying attention to your clients.
Dude, last night in the salon was hysterical. You want to talk about paying attention to the client. Sabrina shows me her phone. She goes, look at this meme I just got. And it basically, I'm paraphrasing, it said something along the lines of, I know the deepest, darkest secrets of my clients but damn me if I can remember which side they part their hair on.
Right? Right?
And I got, as she's showing me the meme, I'm in my chair. I'm combing. I had just done a highlight, and I'm sitting there combing out my client, and I was just about to ask her which side do you part, and now I'm sitting there going, "Oh man, this can't even you can't even time this if you tried, right?" So it's a 50-50. But okay, so here's my question to the comment section: if it's a 50-50 chance, how is it 100% of the time we get that 50% chance wrong? Did I word that correctly?
A 50% chance.
Right. They part on this side, they part on that side, right? It's 50-50.
Well,
But 100% of the time, you choose the wrong way. And then the client has to be like, it's the other way.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why most of the time I have clients that, I've been doing for almost 30 years. And I'll get to that point and I'll be like, in the back of my head, I'm like, wait, what side? You know what I do? At that point, I just hand them my comb and I'm like, here. They know and they part it off for me.
But you I've seen these statistics, science, you flip a quarter, right? Heads or tails. And they say I don't know, 48% heads, 52% tails, or vice versa. But basically it's 50-50, right? And if you flip it 1,000 times, you'll get a pretty much even end result. 100% of the time, it's always wrong. Now, I have PTSD. I have a client I had a new client who came to me, and she sat down and I'm looking at her haircut, I'm looking at her hair color, and I'm doing the initial consultation and everything. And I'm saying, I got to ask, did you move to the area? Are you new to the area? No, I've lived here all my life. Okay. I don't understand why you're in my chair. There's nothing wrong with your haircut or your hair color. Why you need to change for a hairdresser? She goes, I've been going to my stylist for over 10 years. And you would think after 10 years of cutting my hair, she would remember which side to part my hair on. I am so insulted that I'll never go back there again. And I'm thinking, let me save you the effort right now. Get out of my chair, because I won't even wait 10 years. I'll just tell you right now, there's no way I'm going to remember. She goes, how do you remember my hair color? So I'm pretty good at remembering, hair color, and I write it down. She goes, how do you remember my haircut? So pretty much know what I'm doing, and I write it down. She goes, why can't you write down my hair part? And I looked at her, John, and I'm like, this was my response to her. I said, if you're going to bring logic into this conversation, then I'm not talking with you. And she kind of tilted her head. She kind of looked at me for a second, and she started laughing because she understood what I was saying, right? I had no response whatsoever. I had no comeback whatsoever, other than, take your witchcraft logic argument and get out of here.
Right.
So now every time she comes in, I'm freaking out because I'm like, first of all, no, I'm not writing down your part. Why? Because, okay. I don't know. I have zero excuse for why.
Did you stomp your foot at the same time? No, I'm not.
No, I don't wanna. Being a 5-year-old. And then so now every time she comes in, I've got a mental thing. All right, when she comes in, which way did she part her part when she comes in, right? She comes in with a ponytail. How rude. How rude. I'm supposed to know where your part is if you don't have a part when you walk in.
You know what? Guilty as charged, and I'm pretty sure everybody out there.
You know the thing where it flips the table?
Yeah.
So I almost flipped my tray, and then I thought against it. And she's walking up to my station. I took my foils and I threw foil at her. She goes, what the hell? I go, what the hell is with the ponytail? How am I going to know what side you part your hair if you're coming with the, I called her out on it, right? now she just now it's just a whole thing. It's like our little thing with each other.
Right. But with the part though, I mean, it's kind of very lighthearted because we all do it. We're all there. If you're watching, put in the comments if you feel the same pain. But there are other things. There are other things about their services that we should know, and we really should be paying attention. One of my biggest, and this goes right into one of my biggest pet peeves. I hate when when the client sits in a hairdresser's chair, and if it's one of their regulars, and they look at them and they go, "Are we doing the same thing?" I lose my mind.
Okay? No, that part's fine.
What do you mean fine?
That part is fine.
Bull crap. You know what? You are such a liar, and you're just being difficult because I hear you, and you do a consultation with each and every one of your clients every time they sit in your chair. So you're just being a pain in the keister today, and I think you need to start back on your meds because you have oppositional defiance disorder.
Oh my God, that's awesome! I'm going to use that later. You got to remind me of that one.
But
when Carmelina gets home, I'm going to call you and you're going to remind me. Don't forget that word. What did you? Oppositional defiance disorder?
Oppositional defiance disorder.
That sounds amazing.
Well, Carmelina's the one that said you were adorable, so.
I am adorable.
Yeah. Sure you are.
To her, I am absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to release the family member you're holding hostage.
Man, that's I do a consultation for each and every client, and it is that's what kills me about this whole topic though is I am so thorough with everything I do with the client each and every single time they come in that this one simple stupid little thing is like it's such an oversight.
Well, but I
and it's such a common thing too. Like there's memes about it. We're talking about it. Clients leave their stylists over it. Like that's just insane to me. It is absolutely insane to me. But it's freaking hysterical.
No, it's so
I got to the point where when I try to be sneaky about it, and I'm really not good at being sneaky about anything. So it's so funny because I'll sit there and I'll start brushing their hair out and I'll purposely brush their hair slicked back because I can't recall. I have no idea which side it's supposed to be on. So I'll slick their hair back just to brush them all out and get them detangled. And then I'll hand them the brush and I go, I know you're really particular about which side you like your part on. Why don't you adjust it? She goes, what are you talking about? I flip-flop it all the time. I don't care. Just do whatever. Take the damn brush. Like, of course, you're the one. You're right. And I'm like, that's a 50-50 too. You either care or you don't. 100% of the time, I ask the person who doesn't care. How does that work? Why does statistics hates me?
Dude, most of the time I hand them the brush. I'll hand them the brush anyway because I want to sell them the brush too that they're using.
No, it's not even a sales pitch. I'm just desperately trying to avoid making a mistake.
Yeah, I've done that though, and I've gone with their natural part, and they'll be like, I part my hair on the other side, right? And I'm like, oh yeah. I was just going to see how
You're right. No, yeah, I was just giving you the bump. I just wanted to see how your hair wants to fall, but I know you prefer this instead. Yeah. Stupid colics. I don't know, man. All right, I don't know. That's a good one.
It is. And it's funny because it's something that we all do. Unless you are insane note keeper and yeah, no. And yeah,
even
I'm like,
the notes, I'd still find a way to goof it.
Dude, I'll write your formula down. I'll even write what type of haircut I gave you last time, but I'm not putting where your part is.
No.
No.
Oh man. All right, so since we're having fun, let's have some fun.
Ready?
Let's talk about it.
You want to talk about it?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
All nutrient.
All nutrient LC.
Let's do it.
Look. There we
So
go.
LC is Lightner control. That's what it stands for. It's an additive to Lightners that was developed by the brand All Nutrient, and it has a hair gel consistency to be able to control the lightener or the bleach from expanding in an effort to try to help retain the moisture to give you more of a consistent result. That's the quick TLDR. You know, you can turn it off after that. We're about to spend the next 10, 15 minutes or so talking about it more in depth. But that's the short and sweet of LC, and it's a phenomenal product.
Do you want the specs on it, or do you want to wait?
No. That like I said, that's the long and short of it right there. So have at it now. If anybody's still watching after that, then you strap yourself in, boys. Here we go.
There is so many benefits to LC, but I'm going to give you the true components of LC, okay? And then we can get into uses and stuff like that. So it has quartonized keratin, which strengthens and protects the hair.
Now say that in English.
Quartonized keratin.
No. Yeah, that's your nerdy BS. The hell does that even mean?
It is a it's the keratin molecule, and it has been broken down
into quart size portions.
Well, basically, if you take that molecule, they've taken the keratin molecule and they've quartered it. So it's easier, it enters the hair shaft that much easier.
And that's important because
the keratin protects the internal bonds of the hair. So technically, it's not a bond builder. You're going to get really mad at me. It's a bond condom.
Okay. So in order to understand what that truly, like how that truly works, we have to explain a minute. Maybe we should start backwards. What is the purpose of lightening or bleaching hair? Like what is happening during the lightening process that would require an additive like LC?
Well, you're decolorizing the hair. But actually, I'm going to go backwards on you. Let's stop. Keep that thought. Put a pin in that thought.
We'll come back to it.
We'll circle back to it. Some of the other components, because I think this is going to answer that question too. Some of the other components of LC: amino acids, essential fatty acids, and humectants, which all of those things together boost the hair's tensile strength, which means you're not going to make stretchy, gummy hair. Elasticity, you are going to get that 50% stretch and it'll come right back. And here's the big one, which we're going to get into right now because we're talking about lightening: cuticle abrasion, where when you have to open that cuticle to get inside that hair to decolorize, to color. I mean, everything happens once you get that cuticle open, right?
Yeah.
And what happens is a lot of the higher volumes and things like that, what they do is they'll blow that cuticle open and the cuticle doesn't completely close. So you're truly abrading that cuticle where that cuticle is roughed up. So with that being said, this keeps that cuticle nice and elastic. It opens, it closes, and you get a smoother, cleaner result. Now, does that answer your question, or do we have to pull the pin out?
You know, pigmentation in the hair, whether it's natural melanin or whether it's artificial from whatever prior color you were, it's going to add weight. It's going to add condition. It's going to add support to the hair. So that abrasion that you're talking about, that opening of the cuticle, that decolorization process of the pigment from the hair, all of those things breaks down the natural weight, the natural elasticity, the natural protection just the natural condition of the hair overall. So being able to restore that during the lightening process and give back those essential fatty acids, that moisture from that humectant, that strength from that protein, all of those things combined, that's what's going to help protect that hair, give it a more naturally consistent result during your lightening process as well, because you're a slave to porosity. Texture and density matter as well, yes, but you are a slave to porosity when you're highlighting somebody's hair. And that could be the ultimate difference of, you get really nice and bright blonde at the new growth area, then you have this weird reddish, brassy, brown, orange band going through there. Then you have a little bit lighter, then you have a little bit lighter, then you have a little bit lighter. When you balance everything out all the way through the entirety of the hair shaft, you have far more control over the porosity of the hair. And that's what's going to give you a more consistent, even result through that entire shaft. That is what's so important. And that's that protection that you were mentioning earlier,
Right.
For the bonds of the hair.
Right.
Now, so yeah, no, that's a great, that's a great thing. An additive and a bond, you mentioned bond builder. It's different. An additive and a bond builder react onto the hair in completely different ways, because a bond builder is trying to control the action of the lightener or the bleach itself. An additive is trying to, like its name says, add to the hair itself to prepare the hair from the action of the lightener or the bleach. I hope the way I worded that makes sense, because they are trying to do similar things, but they couldn't be more far apart from each other.
Well, I just to kind of pound your point home is, with LC, you don't need a bond builder because you're protecting the natural bonds in the hair with it 100%. So there's no need for a bond builder. And with that being said, when you use LC in your formula, especially with your lighteners or your high lifts, it mixes up to this beautiful cream consistency where it is such an even application that you're not gonna get those band spots like you were talking about, because, as we all know, if you apply something evenly, it all processes evenly. There's no lumps, chunks, or it's not, when you mix your lightener, when you mix this up in your lightener, you're getting creamy Jif. You're not getting chunky Jif. You know what I mean? Or Skippy, whatever your peanut butter choice.
Whichever your preferred brand is. And it's also important to note that the reason why a lot of that inconsistency occurs is because you're hitting tiers. Like I like to say, like every 5-10 minutes, you're getting an expansion. And every time the lightener or the bleach expands, it's drying out a little bit. And each time it dries out a little bit, you're losing more potency and lift. You're starting to lose a quarter level, a half a level of lift. So over the course of the lightening process, it's why in the beginning it looks like it's moving pretty good at a nice steady pace. Halfway through, you're like, oh, this thing's not moving anymore. Maybe I need to pop it under the dryer. And then towards the end, you're like, oh man, this thing, I missed my mark altogether. And everybody starts freaking out. The other thing to note is measuring is really important as well. So when you're measuring an additive like LC into your bleach or your lightener, and if you're actually following the directions and you're actually measuring out the product, the powder, in the way that the manufacturer has designed for it to develop, that's, again, where a lot of, we can just keep talking about consistency, because that's really what it comes down to more than anything else. When you put more powder than developer, that's that chunky peanut butter that you're going to get, like you're talking about, right? When you're putting more developer than powder, you're completely dissolving the powder altogether. You're not even having an opportunity for the powder to decolorize anything at that point, for it to fully activate at that point. You're just relying on the powder power of the peroxide to do the lift. And unfortunately, peroxide is only going to really lift natural pigmentation. When peroxide hits artificial pigment, you're going to get more horizontal movement than you're going to get any really decolorization.
Right.
And that's a lot of the struggle, what a lot of people run into when if you prefer thinner, a thinner mix, like that pancake mix.
Right. I
So
get
the
that.
directions matter. The directions totally matter.
And the best part about this too is because I think you mentioned this earlier is with Lightner control in your Lightner, you're not going to get that bleach expansion from it because it keeps it, because of the humectants in it, it keeps that bleach moist. Bleach Lightner, old school, sorry guys. It keeps that Lightner moist, keeps it smooth, and literally an hour later you could come back to that bowl of Lightner, just give it a swirl or two with the brush, and it goes right back down to that cream consistency.
Yeah,
it's amazing. I was talking at the show with, I can't remember his name, and he's a big Lightner control freak, and he told me, he goes, pretty much throughout the day he uses the same bowl of Lightner, and all he does is boost it. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah. I swear, I now the insanity of that statement, but testament to the Lightner control, because
yes, but that's so
wrong. It's so wrong. It's so awful. He goes, I'll use the same bowl. I'll also use the same bowl of Lightner for 3-4 clients. I just
keep adding to it. I just keep adding to it.
Yeah.
Like, that's so wild. I mean, it works, but yeah, no, I don't.
No,
I don't agree with that.
Nuh-uh.
Hey, one of my fun things to do is to mix a bowl of Lightner with the LC right in the beginning of the program, as soon as it starts.
Right.
And I like to let it sit. And I keep passing it around every 10, 15 minutes. And
Right.
just so everybody could see how it starts to expand, And then at about, halfway through the program, I start passing that bowl around. I'm like, all right, everybody, start mixing it up again and see how it just comes back. It just completely comes back. So if you have that much control, then in your foils, you're not going to blow up. Then you're not going to get the bleeders or the demarcations or the holidays.
Right.
Now, if you're freehanding for a balayage technique or an ombre technique, that's huge. That's really, really huge. I'm not hearing a lot of talk about clay lighteners lately anymore. So I don't know if just foiling is getting that much more popular again. I don't know if, what's going on with that. But one of the struggles with the clays and with the thicker lighteners was the struggle of getting enough lift, or getting enough activation or enough movement. So being able to use a more traditional powder formula and have it not bleed into all the other strands side by side as well too, that's huge. That'll give you a lot of just ease. Just makes your life, quality of life thing.
Right. Once again, awesome for balayage, awesome for all the freehand techniques too. It's great. I love it. I foil with it too, and I love the fact that there is zero swelling, truly zero swelling, and just the ease of foiling with it. It's my fave, man. I am all about Lightner control, and then the way the hair feels afterwards. And you just throw is awesome. I wanted to get another point. I'm in the shop today, and I've got people walking by making faces at me.
It's a live studio audience. That's what you get to deal with.
A little bit.
And then, as a host, how good of a host are you to be able to deal with the distractions?
I apologize. That just took me completely. I skipped the whole subject that I wanted to talk to you about.
That's awesome.
You don't understand who I work with. I'm really scared of what they will push up against the window.
So then why are you sitting this way? You should be sitting against the window.
I should, but this is where the plug is. This is where my internet connection is.
I tell you.
Anyway,
but yeah, if Lightner control is something that you want to check out htbbeauty.com.
Yeah, I just wanted to put a cap on the end of your point about, when we mix it up with the show. Do you remember Erin that worked from Xenogen? She's also an all nutrient user.
Yeah, Erin's awesome. Oh yeah,
she's fantastic.
She said hi last week to us. Yeah.
Same Erin. I had mixed up a bowl at the booth, and it sat, and she came over and she looked at it, she goes to me, she goes, "Did you just mix this up?" I said, "No, that's actually been sitting there for like an hour and a half." I go, "Check this out," and she's like, "Wow!" And she bought it right there. We shipped it to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it was really cool. I just wanted to put a cap on that because she's great, and she was an example that I had. So.
You just got so distracted from everybody walking by.
Dude, I'm gonna have to put a curtain up or something. I swear.
Yeah, all right. So you need some motivation, is what you need. So you can stay focused.
Dude, what? You're pushing the motivation thing pretty hard today.
I'm excited for it, man. I love these segments.
You need to be motivated
every day.
Okay, this is a good
every day, every hour, every minute, every second.
Yeah.
Every breath you take.
This is what happens when you give two squirrels an internet connection. That's all I'm telling you guys. I guarantee you, if you roll something shiny across the floor, we'll both chase it. Yeah. Squirrel. What movie was that with the dog that was always like squirrel?
I know exactly what you're talking
Disney
about.
Movie.
I can't remember.
Up with the dog the dog that was the golden retriever. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, see, we've gone sideways. All right, so here's your motivation, and I'm going to say it to you this week, and I want you to tell me what you think before I put it.
I like it better when you break it down first, because sometimes I'm not sure if I'm understanding. All right, fine. Well, I'll play along.
We're doing it a little different this week, Eddie.
All right. I'm focused.
Because you're adorable too. All right.
I'm focused.
Okay. Talent might make you good, but your attitude and work ethic, that's what will make you great.
Man, to hell with you. I see what you did there. Yeah, talent might make you good, but your attitude and your work ethic is what makes you great. That is a very, I say it every week, man. All of these quotes are very deep. I am convinced that you purposely choose these quotes just to poke at me, because, and that's the whole thing, right? Everybody will take what you hear. You have a choice. When somebody says something to you, you have a choice to either take it as a positive or take it as a negative. You also have a choice to take it personal or take it at face value as well. And that's one of the great thing about these motivations is everything is a choice in how you approach something. Okay. Talent comes in many different forms, whether you understand something or not, through knowledge or through wisdom. Those are two different things. Whether you have the ability to mentally do something or physically do something, that comes in two different things as well. Some people are builders. Some people are architects. They can draw it out. They can engineer it. Some people can actually construct it physically with their hands, So yeah, having talent comes in many different forms. And that makes you good, especially if you have a natural talent. That makes you better than the average person. But your approach to what you do with that talent, through your attitude and through your work ethic, determines whether or not you will become successful, and it will determine whether or not you can be either a worker or a leader. And there's nothing wrong with being either one. But what it takes to become great takes a lot more effort in staying positive, in staying straight, in staying, coming in first, for the first person in, the last person out. When we do the hair show, when we do any show, when we do any class, when we do any program, we are always the first ones there. We are always the last ones out the door. Okay. And it's become, like, in our team, it's become a little rivalry thing, and Bernard will always get upset when I get like when him and I are working on a project together or at a show together or a class or something, he'll always get upset that I beat him there, that I got there first. And he's like, what did you, like, you woke up, like, he's like, I came down purposely 30 minutes earlier than I normally would have because I know that about you. And you're still here. Like, what did you do? I'm like, well, I know that you know that I do what you tried to do, So I did myself. I did myself more than I do myself. And then when you beat me somewhere and you get somewhere first before I do, I always make a comment at you because I get all thing. I'm like, yeah, I wasn't the first one. That work ethic. I always joke with people, but like my grandma used to say, why are you home so early? Like, I just put in, I got a full-time job. I put in an 8-hour shift. She goes, 8 hours is not a full-time shift. What are you talking about? Why are you home so early? Why are you lazy? I'm like, I don't understand. Then I would put in a couple of overtime weeks and I put in like a 10, 12-hour shift. And then here's my grandma. She's like, why are you home so early? I'm like, I'm home later than I normally am, woman. Like, what do you want about? She's like, get out of here, lazy. It wasn't until I started putting in 14 to 16-hour shifts, man. I was doing double shifts. And then I'd come home and my grandma would come out and poke her head out and look at me as I'm walking in. And I would just, after a 16-hour shift, tired. I love you, grandma, but I don't want to listen to you, what you're about to say to me right now, calling me lazy of all the times, right? But no, she would look at me and she goes, you hungry? I'll make you something. Come on, sit down. I'm like, whoa, I didn't get to your lazy speech.
Right.
I'm like, grandma, what's up? You okay? She's like, oh, you work hard today. Come on. You earned your food. Today you earned your food. What? She's like, I'll cook you anything you want. What you want? Right. I'm like, what's with this special treatment? Right. She goes, you work hard. You deserve it. Oh, this is great. I'm like, it is great. Not this is good. This is great. Whereas I'd put in a normal shift and then she'd be like, I'm like, I worked hard. I worked a long day today. She's like, good for you. Yeah, you work so late. You're lazy. I'm like, man. But you look at any professional athlete. Darren gave me the greatest analogy the one time and the greatest advice. He's given me a lot of great advice over the years, but in particular, this among the few, this is one, my top 2 or 3. The professional athletes will practice 40 hours a week for a 2-hour game on Sunday. He'd say even like Michael Jordan or who's the golf guy, Tiger Woods, like all the whoever, his analogies, right? And it's like whoever famous number 1 top athlete, they all have coaches and they all show up and they get constructive criticism told to them. It doesn't matter if you're in the industry for 10 years or 50 years or 10 minutes or 50 hours or whatever. You keep coming back for education. You keep coming back for training. You and I, people consider us higher up in the industry. And you and I still look at them and go, man, we're still learning. I don't know what you're talking about. Like we're still reading all the time and discussing and learning, You never feel like you make it. And it's that ethic. It's that drive. It's that attitude that you're like, nah, I need more. I need to do better. I need to outdo myself. Forget about outdoing the person next to me. I produced this much last week. I need to here, bro. What are we doing this week? Come on, let's stay on target, right? Let's keep this ball going. You call me every time. What's the plan for next week? What's the plan for next week? I'm like, dude, we're planning out July and August. We're only in May, like we're 2-3 months ahead, and you're like, nah, we need to get 6 months ahead. I'm like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. I'm like you, my dad, who has been my role model forever. I've always said, if I'm half the father he was, I'll consider myself, that's a win. He always had these sayings that still rattle around in my head. The first one is, if you're 10 minutes early, you're late.
That's a good one.
And he always used to tell me, he goes, in life, there's always going to be someone who's a little more talented than you, maybe smarter than you. He goes, but my dad's old school Italian, New York Italian, right? He'd look at me, point his big hand finger in my face, and he'd be like, but you make goddamn sure that no one ever outworks you. I mean, that's,
dude, that's how you and I have built our careers.
Yeah.
You might be better, you might be smarter, you might be faster, you might be talented, you might be whatever, but nobody's more consistent than we are. We grind, dude.
You cannot
work harder than we do.
That's run through my head 1,000 times.
That is true.
And then he always used to tell me, the last one that I all these things I go through my head almost every day is, you attract more flies with honey than you do vinegar.
I've heard that one a lot. Yeah, I've heard that a lot.
And that's all about your attitude. And it's all about your attitude. He goes, you be nice to everybody. He goes, like he always says, because I'll be like, well, yeah, well, what if, when I was younger, I was like, yeah, but what if he said I was, this, and this? And he'd look at me and he goes, are you? I come home and say, like, this guy said this to me. And my dad would just look at me and go, are you? And he said this about my mom. He goes, is she? And I went, he goes, words don't hurt. And then the last one he always told me is, life's rough, get a helmet.
Strap in, boys. Here we go.
It's gonna get bumpy, But that's really what this whole motivational thing says to me is no one can take away your work ethic and your attitude, because you control that. You control that. And it doesn't, I mean, at least for me, it feels good to say, you know what, when like even you say it, dude, do you ever stop? And I'm like, no. I'm like, no, I don't ever stop. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Okay.
Here, I'll share something personal. Let's share something personal.
Okay.
You called me this morning. You're like, hey, what's up, bro? Good morning. I'm like, morning. Like, hey, what are we doing today? How do you want to start? I'm like, I don't want to start. You're like, okay. Well, should we do this one or this one? I'm like, nah, I don't care. Either one. You're like, well, you usually have a plan. Like, how do you want to go? And I was being very offensively destructive, defiant. Wait, what was?
Oppositional defiance disorder.
Yeah, I was having that one this morning, right? Obstruction, destruction. I was right. So I was copying an attitude, a negative attitude this morning. I was not in the mood this morning when you called. And it wasn't you. It wasn't anybody. I just was not 100% awake yet when you called, even though I physically had been awake for hours. My brain hadn't kicked on yet.
Right.
You hit me with, okay, I see how it is. This is what we're doing today. You're just going to be and I won't say the exact word what you said, but you cursed at me. And I'm like, yeah. I had no comeback because it was fact. Yeah. It was fact. You called me out, you put me in my place, and I had to, and it kickstart me. And I'm like, all right, man, look. And then, we goofed off for a minute, gave the phone to Carmelina. We all had a little laugh for 30 seconds, a minute. I took the phone back. And then we're like, all right, man, here, look, we're getting serious. This is what we got to do. Get ready for the meeting. Here we go.
Right.
So it's all in the attitude.
It's
all in the attitude.
Trust me, dude, there are days, and you know that because you've talked to me, there are days where I'm like, yeah, I think I'm just going to get a job at Walmart and just tell people the wrong place to go in the store.
But that's what it is. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
Talent makes you good. Your attitude and your work ethic make you great.
Yeah. Yeah. So
I'd like to know what that means to people too. Hit us with a comment.
Give us comments.
I'd like another perspective on that if there is one.
Yeah. Except we don't want Darren's. We don't want that. We don't want his perspective. Is he still? Oh, he's not.
He'll have a squirrel moment halfway through typing anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Well, we've come to the end of another SFTB. Everybody watching, click the like, click the subscribe, click the share, and please don't be.
If we've earned it from you, and if you like to see more,
let us know. Leave comments. Let us know things that maybe you want us to cover, or maybe a subject you want to hear our goofball angle on. We'll be back next week, same time, same channel. We appreciate you all. Eddie, I appreciate nothing about you.
But you are great, John.
Your attitude is great. You are adorable.
And I am adorable.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.